This is a compilation of some of the most popular lessons in meme culture videos from January to December 2024. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this mega compilation of brain rot. I love you all. The upcoming release of the Hazbin Hotel series on Prime has many people hyped for the R-rated jaunt about rehabilitating demons so that they can go to heaven. However, this hype has been tainted somewhat by the rumor that Verbalace, the YouTuber known for his cartoon beatbox battles, has gone bankrupt because he spent 50 grand on an animation wherein he gets seduced by Charlie Morningstar. News of this allegation was initially spread on Twitter, as the Start of Luck claimed the beatboxer told members of a Discord server that $50,000 was spent on the personalized Hazbin Hotel animation. This animation is set to the 2018 banger Hideaway by Synapson featuring Holly, and seems to be directed by a Stephen Chase. Apparently, this music video was created during the production of a regular cartoon beatbox battle, and as a result, the Start of Luck alleged that it bankrupted Verbalace, which is now the dominant rumor flying around the internet. And even though attempts were made to keep it mostly secret, apparently it eventually got to the point where it reached critical mass and started blowing up. As of the writing of this video, Verbalace has not confirmed or denied the allegations, so it's difficult to tell exactly how he feels about the whole thing, although he has just announced a series called Puppet Beatbox Battles, so perhaps he's keen to just keep working whilst the storm rides out. Although the implied mature content is a little strange, it perhaps wouldn't have reached the attention of the wider internet if Verbalace wasn't said to have spent $50,000 on the project. That is a ton of money for only around 3 minutes of animation. Hazbin Hotel is one of those animated shows that has garnered a huge following on social media, so its fandom is already pretty massive. Plus, the beatboxer has a reputation for producing mostly family-friendly content with his channel, so it is very much tonal whiplash to be blasted with a completely different direction. And there are rumors flying around that the animator who got paid the 50 grand is only 15, but so far these claims seem unsubstantiated with evidence. Verbalace is well known in meme culture for sparking huge trends such as the Tetris beatbox back in 2019 and the Thanos beatbox in 2020, amongst many others. As such, the fact that a well-known and beloved creator is having some dirty laundry aired out for the world to see is pretty shocking. In short, the Verbalace Hazbin Hotel situation has blown up to the point where people who haven't even heard of the man are interested in knowing why he allegedly spent 50 grand on an animation, supposedly bankrupting one of YouTube's most famous beatboxers. So it should be interesting to see if the story develops any further or completely fizzles out. What meme would you guys like me to give a lesson in next? Let me know in the comments below. Whenever new Dragon Ball content is released, cartel activity drops significantly for about 2 days. This alleged fun fact seems to have started spreading as of late last year, although I can't find the actual source for it, so it may just be made up. But it implies cartel members enjoy Dragon Ball so much that they stop what they're doing just to watch the show or read the manga. Hence, we have memes referencing the creator of Dragon Ball, Akira Toriyama, being kidnapped and then saved by the Mexican cartel pulling up to Japan, as they love Goku so much that they never want anything to get in the way of their favorite franchise. It's likely because Mexicans, generally speaking, seem to absolutely adore Dragon Ball, enough so that there are millions of memes exploring this love, as well as countless articles breaking down the reasons why Goku is so popular. As it turns out, it was cheaper for Latin America to broadcast Japanese cartoons in the 80s and 90s, as North American homegrown cartoons were expensive. Thus, shows like Dragon Ball were often presented a full season ahead in Mexico compared to North America, and the country's love affair for anime began much sooner than most Western destinations. In fact, Mexico loves Dragon Ball so much that they almost caused a diplomatic incident, as the country aired the fight between Goku and Jiren publicly in 2018, infringing on Toei Animation's rights and causing the company to write a strongly worded letter asking the government to cease and desist. Eventually, Japan and Mexico worked out an agreement, but it got pretty hairy. That's how seriously Latin America takes Goku and his pals getting up to some seriously cool fights. These memes can also go the other way, wherein the cartel are afraid of Goku so one can pretend to call him in order to stop their heinous crimes. The cartel is one of the most popular factions of organized crime in the world, being heavily represented in media over the years, as well as live leak clips that traumatized a generation. For such a fearsome organization to be enamored with a popular franchise like Dragon Ball Z humanizes them somewhat, making the people known for committing horrific crimes easier for creators to represent them in memes. A random cartel member that robbed and killed a family is hard to love, but one that also likes Dragon Ball Z? Suddenly their PR has been softened and is more palatable for the masses. And so, the internet finds itself in an interesting situation where the cartel has become simultaneously feared and yet loved, all because Mexico really, really likes a Japanese anime. What meme would you guys like me to give a lesson in next? Let me know in the comments below. Delicious brain rot.
Skibbity Fortnite! Why do you look so confused? Have you never been a Sigma rising up a Flowberry Burst yacht in Reckless Railways?
It's the catch-all term describing the past few years of low-quality yet massively popular internet culture, from skibbity toilet to lobotomy memes, to even subjects in offline spaces. Brain rot is an incredibly flexible and easy-to-apply piece of slang. It can apply to shitposting, to YouTube Kids, to any content considered low-quality yet large in quantity. Ultimately, it perfectly describes the effects of prolonged exposure to a fast-paced online world, dominated by short clips designed to grab the attention of the viewer and ensure that they swipe to the next piece for hours on end without gaining any meaningful stimulation from the act. People will often describe themselves as brain-rotted in relation to this phenomenon, joking that their own minds have been irreversibly damaged by the horrors of social media. One could liken online brain rot to the endless halls of poker machines, with players tapping and dancing at their screens plastered with unknowable flickering lights and joyful sounds. Back when YouTube Kids had autoplay enabled by default, children would watch brain rot content for hours and hours on end, racking up terrible animation channels millions of views and tons of cash, leading to massive criticisms of this practice such as Elsagate. As such, this video seeks to explore the concept of brain rot and pin down exactly where it is seen the most and why.
Thank you, yeah!
Whilst it's unclear who coined the term, brain rot started seeing major success when applied to the phenomenon, whereupon Subway Surfers footage, or Minecraft parkour, or those videos of soaps being cut paired with Family Guy clips were all the rage on TikTok. As such, brain rot shorts or brain rot TikToks are commonly positioned together as phrases, as the concept of watching ultra low quality content in high doses injected straight into one's eyeballs on a daily basis is generally associated with what the worst of social media has to offer. So-called satisfying videos would crowd the screens so much that the actual main content originally presented in a short would be heavily obscured, and the end result is a constant overstimulation destroying the brain. At this point, the onus of brain rot is also applied to certain generations of children, generally the ones who grew up watching YouTube videos on autoplay on their iPads, aka iPad kids. Of course, this assumption seems to apply to Generation Alpha, but before then it was Zoomers and Millennials using social media too, and before then Gen X and Baby Boomers were considered the TV generations, and going back even further in history it turns out even novels were considered brain rot because you weren't actively learning anything for reading a fictional story. Seriously, there was massive outrage regarding the hobby of reading for pleasure, which was described as addictive and antisocial, which sounds extremely familiar. Many also compare the popularity of early 2010s Gmod humor to the modern trends of the 2020s, demonstrating the fact that what may appear as mindless brain rot at first glance is often constructed with a story in mind. Due to this, the generational attack against Gen Alpha is quite unfair, although it does work to encourage rage bait and thus may be fun for some to exploit. Algorithms are in charge of spreading this content, often encouraging videos to watch the clips with the most engagement, which just so happens to be slapped onto GTA 5 footage or Minecraft parkour or videos of people peeling soap, aka brain rot. In fact, social media companies prefer brain rot content to be the norm, as it ensures high retention levels, a metric that tech executives absolutely adore because it means audiences are giving their attention to an app designed to take advantage of human biology. Of course, this idea is one that has been reflected in pop culture for many years too. There's this fantastic comic called Tokyo Ghost that illustrates the idea of brain rot being taken to its extreme logical limit brilliantly. The comic is set in the future of 2089, in a world where everyone is addicted to watching shows and social media. One of the main characters, a hulking man named Led Dent, is constantly jacked into watching his newsfeed at all times, to the point where he becomes easy to manipulate and totally disconnected from the rest of the world, to the point that it has become a drug for him, blinding him to the fact that he's committing extremely violent acts without realizing exactly what he's doing. It's the perfect representation of how brain rot can manifest in a story, satirizing the very real fact that humanity is being bombarded with an overwhelming amount of information every single day, all designed to get us addicted to watching just one more video. You can see the same thing with the 2008 film WALL-E. It's well known that social media is designed to provide dopamine with every single like and every single click, so that we keep looking at it for as long as possible in order for tech companies to sell user data. That dopamine hit can be habit forming, and for some, social media addiction can be a very real problem, leaving them feeling worn out and tired after a day of watching mindless brain rot. It's not as if all social media content is brain rot. With a varied and balanced array of information, it can be totally fine to just chill out and watch your favorite YouTubers or gaming videos or whatever niche hobby you might have. But when it gets to hours and hours of watching exactly the same thing without any change, it can become a serious mental health issue as you fall into stagnation and cognitive decline. On that note, it's worth mentioning the fact that the word rot has become something of a meme in itself. Concepts like bed rotting have been bouncing around the internet for years, and perhaps much of this stems from the fact that humans are quite good at being self-destructive. There's also the satirical side of things, where creators pretend to be experiencing brain rot, such as hepatitis BA4 referencing countless online bits of slang in an intentionally low-quality manner, which of course evokes comments from people who don't know it is satire describing their content as actual brain rot.
POV, I'm bringing Ninja to get a low table fade, and Duke Dennis starts whizzing him up. Come on, Ninja, let's go get your low table fade.
The implication is that after watching too much of it, one becomes zombified. But anyone who spends an iota of time online has no doubt come across this phenomenon themselves. As such, brain rot can be perceived in a couple of different ways. Yes, sometimes we can suffer drastic consequences of being subjected to low-quality content and social media platforms designed to manipulate the dopamine switches in our brains to the point where we scroll for hours on end and feel like we've turned into a mindless zombie for the day. But on the other hand, it's okay to have a little bit of brain rot as a treat. You can enjoy posting, or viral videos, or goofy TikToks. It's just that the healthiest way to do this is to simply strike a balance. And once you've got that down pat, then suddenly brain rot content feels like less of a major threat than it ever used to be. And looking at trends in the past, it isn't as if newer generations are inherently more prone to brain rot either. It's just that the massively popular low-quality content that is presented in huge numbers looked different back in the day. Before the internet was huge, it was TV, and before TV, even novels were considered a form of brain rot, as they represented addictive content produced at a high quantity. And so it would appear that the term is one that is new and extremely flexible when applied to the online and offline world, but in a way, it has existed forever. What meme would you guys like me to give a lesson in next? Let me know in the comments below. A video of a group of dudes singing and dancing along to Carnival by Kanye West has been labelled as a TikTok Riz Party. It brings to mind videos of kids singing along to Mobamba or Sicko Mode back in 2018, with a similar vibe of music not quite matching the people on screen. The original video of the TikTok Riz Party comes from a photography firm called Island Entertainment, who uploaded clips of these guys on the 10th of March this year, pinning it to the top of their account to ensure it gets maximum exposure. Shortly after publication, the comments on the video labelled the clip as the TikTok Riz Party, in what appears to be an effort to make it sound as cringeworthy as possible. This could also be a reference to a poster that blew up a few months ago literally called TikTok Riz Party, which many believe to be real despite none of the listed performers or companies actually attending the event. This poster became a meme in the same way the footage of the boys dancing around to Carnival did. Many have come to their own conclusions about the type of people at these parties and decided that they're cringe, even if they're just moments taken out of context. Perhaps in a world where everyone is used to representing themselves as a brand 24/7, uploading only the best images and video to present an air of authenticity or effortlessness, actual candid footage of a party comes off as bizarre and freakish. Every person on screen has been put under a magnifying glass to the point where each one has their own analysis and lore, as if they're characters in a TV show instead of real-life people. But mainly it's the significant use of brain rot slang that drives the point home here, and it's gotten to the stage where creators have been replicating the Riz Party on their own to make fun of it. In the real world, no one actually cares what others look like on the dance floor. It's only when it's heavily scrutinized through the lens of social media that it's deemed cringe. Of course 16-year-olds are going to look weird dancing and jumping around to music, but it shouldn't stop them from having fun. It's a shame that in a world where everything is recorded and uploaded 24/7, it gets harder to be cringe in peace. In short, the TikTok Riz Party takes a meme posted only a few months ago in the form of a poster and makes it come to life thanks to Island Entertainment, representing a change in how kids grew up compared to 20 years ago. Social media means living in a world where your actions are constantly judged, scrutinized, and turned into memes. What meme would you guys like me to give a lesson in next? Let me know in the comments below. They finally killed young Sheldon. The Big Bang Theory and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race, most notably the spin-off show Young Sheldon. It began in 2017, 2 years before its parent show would formally end, and has now reached its conclusion in 2024 at 7 seasons and 141 episodes. Unfortunately, the arrival of Young Sheldon's end was perhaps announced without much thought, as outlets such as Discussing Film were quick to write headlines such as "Young Sheldon ends tonight," which commenters readily pointed out that the words read like a threat from the Riddler. The idea that Young Sheldon's death has been announced is ultimately what led to the meme of him being killed existing, as it isn't incorrect to say that he has met his end, just that technically he has done so through the finish of the show. This meme has spread so far throughout the internet that people have actually started to ask questions about the validity of his death, leading to multiple articles clarifying the true nature of the trend. But given the massive impact The Big Bang Theory has had on pop and digital culture since it began airing in 2007, it's not surprising it was described as one of the worst shows on television by critics and yet absolutely loved by audiences. It inspired countless ironic memes, such as references to Sheldon's catchphrase "Bazinga" and his iconic laptop pose. Of course, when Young Sheldon first started airing, meme creators began making insane memes from that show too, and just like The Big Bang Theory, it has been somewhat critically panned yet adored by millions. This is why the show finishing has become such a massive deal. Officially, it was announced last year that Young Sheldon would end after season 7, as during this season Sheldon's dad would pass away, which is a major plot point. In a way, it's good that they're ending while the show has reached a viewership of millions and it can ride that high, as there's no doubt many studio executives would be keen to just keep on pumping out episodes forever. Of course, there is another spin-off show coming along, so it's not like taking advantage of the popularity of it isn't happening, but still. Plus, it's cool to see that Ian Armitage is totally aware of meme culture and has been caught on film taking part multiple times. As stated prior, he has been the subject of it throughout his career. In short, Young Sheldon ending and ultimately being placed in memes depicting the character literally being killed off is a fantastic way to finish a show that has been a part of meme culture for years on end, echoing the legacy of its parent, The Big Bang Theory, before it. What meme would you guys like me to give a lesson in next? Let me know in the comments below. Tour has got to be one of the most satisfying ways of showing how to spit I've ever seen. It comes from an interview of a woman who, when asked the move in bed that makes man go crazy, she says,
"Oh, you gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing, you get me?"
This interview was conducted by Tim and D TV on the 11th of June, and the two guys have made it their career to interview young women on a night out, clearly looking for people to give outrageous reactions. That being said, this can get a little exploitative given these girls are often pretty drunk, and it's not clear if they'd say the same thing sober, but I'm assuming they're signing some kind of release form at this stage. Due to the spread of this meme, a hell of a lot of effort was put into finding the identity of this girl, and eventually a Facebook post by Fathead Threads would reveal who she is. In an image promoting Hawk Tour, you can see that she is signing her name as Hayley, although since then she appears to have gone radio silent, which is fair enough. Not everyone wants the insane levels of fame that come with being turned into a meme, even though this one is essentially harmlessly goofy. Hopefully, she manages to earn a little bit of cash through her promotion with Fathead Threads, as becoming a meme is notoriously difficult to capitalize on unless you have proper business or social media savvy. At any rate, at this stage you may be wondering, but with everything going on in the world, why is a clip of a girl explaining how to spit going viral? Well, videos about people just saying things in a funny way used to be one of early meme culture's most popular genres. The Boom girl from Australia is a great example of this, as her interview in 2009 whereupon she says the words
And then they pulled out a gun and just went boom.
"Chuk Chuk Boom" in relation to a made-up story about two people fighting and shooting led to a massive meme at the time, complete with music remixes. The fact that Hawk Tour has taken exactly the same path is by design on behalf of Tim and D TV, who likely uploaded the part of the interview that was the most exciting in the hopes that it would make them famous too. In short, Hawk Tour has become this uncontrollable monster of a soundbite that comes from a very funny girl on a night out, and yet her radio silence on social media at this stage, except for one promotion with Fathead Threads, perhaps shows a reluctance to embrace this fame. What meme would you guys like me to give a lesson in next? Let me know in the comments below. After Trump was shot in the ear during a failed assassination attempt at a rally in Pennsylvania, he did, of course, very quickly become a meme, thanks to the internet's rapid ability to take anything and twist and contort it into humour. However, I'd say that Trump's instincts also had something to do with it, telling him that standing up and putting his fist out with blood smeared on his mouth would turn into a viral sensation, quickly creating the hardest album cover of all time. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Memes have long bolstered presidential campaigns and their chances of winning political fights, and this particular one, referencing what was a terrifying event, has gone absolutely bonkers. We are seeing memes left, right and centre as all political parties reference what is perhaps the biggest and most newsworthy event regarding the election circus in 2024. Honestly, the sheer volume of content being pumped out is crazy, as a total feeding frenzy of political mayhem has been dominating the internet, as every meme account in sight has been totally relentless mocking the situation. Not only that, but the shooting has inspired conspiracies that everything was staged like some sort of WWE show, so it just keeps going on and on and on and on. Not to mention the usual references to Sam Hyde, pegging him as the perpetrator despite the shooter being swiftly identified. And 50 Cent's Many Men has started trending as it's often played alongside photos of the incident. Plus, we also have the mother of all photos, a shot of the speeding bullet apparently captured by New York Times photographer Doug Mills. All of this has certainly led to a historic moment for America, as presidents who get shot at always seem to leave a legacy. Trump will now forever be known as a guy who survived an assassination, and whilst that is a terrifying thing for America to witness, it seems to have improved the likelihood of his election. People love a good extreme story, and the idea that a person would get shot at but still keep going is ripe for narrative. But what's going to be interesting is how Trump reacts to the entire situation, and whether or not he keeps appearing at open rallies given it's been made clear he is within range of gunfire. In short, Trump being shot at yet ultimately surviving is one of 2024's biggest events regarding the lead up to elections, and it would seem the meat grinder that is meme culture is taking it and spitting it out over and over again until it has stuffed everyone full of content. What meme would you guys like me to give a lesson in next? Let me know in the comments below. How did my country become so based in the art of breakdancing? Truly, I've never seen such incredible moves from one of our top athletes. It was all kicked off by Rachel Gunn, aka Ray Gunn, who's also a lecturer in media and creative studies at Macquarie University, who was chosen to represent Australia at the highest athletic level in breakdancing. She's actually got skin in the game too, winning the Oceania Breaking Olympic qualifiers, as well as breakdancing since 2012. Unfortunately, her kangaroo hops and laying on the ground toe touches were not favourably reviewed by judges. I wish I could show you actual footage of the event, but the Olympics committee will copyright strike me so hard I'll be blasted through to the other side of the earth. At any rate, sometimes it's the reach for creativity and artistry that really counts, and the real winners of the Olympics have been the ones best suited to appearing in memes. For that, Ray Gunn wins gold, as she has completely destroyed social media with clips of her brilliant dancing. Apparently, one of the contributing factors to performance at the Olympics is that they cannot choose the tracks to go with their moves, requiring dancers to improvise on the spot. However, it shouldn't be too tricky for an athlete to do such a thing if they're a master of their craft. Ray Gunn has since responded to the memes with the words, "Don't be afraid to be different, go out there and represent yourself, you never know where that's going to take you." And you know what? That's fair enough. She gets to say she represented at the Olympics, she got a ride to Paris, and that's not a bad deal. And if you watch her videos on social media, you'll see she's not bad at all, but still, maybe there's more conventional breakdancers out there to represent Australia, or maybe we're just unique in our approach to the sport. Any way you spin it, as an Australian, I'm bloody proud of Ray Gunn, as she represents our nation's ability to give stuff a red-hot go no matter what, and I love that, as she's given us the opportunity to make some banger memes. Unfortunately, breakdancing is not set to appear in the 2028 LA Olympics, but with such a high-profile contender coming from Australia and setting the world's attention on the sport, perhaps we'll see more of it in the near future. What meme would you guys like me to give a lesson in next? Let me know in the comments below. Nikocado Avocado is always 2 steps ahead. At least that's the title of his latest video, in which he reveals his lifestyle as a mukbang YouTuber slash villain of the internet, always crying and blaming everyone else for every single one of his own faults, was all just a game. In it, he gives a Joker-esque speech about his self-made role as a villain conducting a massive social experiment, denouncing his audience who continues to consume stories about him year after year.
So I am the villain, because I've made myself one.
It's definitely of the dramatic flair expected of Nikocado Avocado, just presented differently as he's also shaved his hair, which, as we all know, thanks to Hollywood, implies significant character growth. For many years, the memes and video essays referring to Nikocado and how he has destroyed his life have run rife on the internet, with many simply all too ready to denounce him as a degenerate who has zero control. However, over the past couple of years, he has appeared in interviews and collaborative videos wherein his dramatic character hints toward a more laid-back personality, and his latest clip definitely leans toward that direction. There's no crying, no screaming, no throwing food around or dramatic breakup announcements. It's just him calmly chatting to the camera with his pet parrot by his side, and it really is more shocking than any of the content he'd been releasing simply because it completely goes against the grain of what his audience has come to expect. Some are even asking if the whole video is AI, so big of a change his new look is, as he did release a clip 7 months ago that looks like business as usual, but one has to assume Nikocado has a significant backlog of videos that he schedules to release every now and then, because it's not as if it's time-sensitive content. He very well may have been attempting to become healthier for a couple of years, and almost no one would have any idea of what he was up to. What I'm interested to see, however, is what he decides to do next. Now that he has officially retired his villain arc, will he continue to generate the insane levels of interest with his regular guy arc? That being said, his monologue was still all very Nikocado Avocado, as he ensured the dramatic reveal of his face was presented as slowly and tantalizingly as possible with a panda mask. In short, Nikocado's physical changes have become the talk of the internet after he released clips confirming that the whole time he was indeed playing a character, going directly against the image he had built up over the past years as a villainous heel for the masses to point and laugh at. What meme would you guys like me to give a lesson in next? Let me know in the comments below.
KSI's song Thick of It is a bit corny. It's not the worst song I've ever heard, but it's not meant to be a mature and interesting track for its audience. It's a YouTuber audience designed for a social media demographic, so it's always going to come off as a bit forced. And after public sentiment is sitting at an all-time low for KSI, given his reaction to Dan TDM's tweet criticizing his Lunchly launch, it makes sense that the reaction to his song would be so low, as the timing is just not good. Maybe he's utilizing the dead cat strategy, which is the act of diverting an audience's attention from a pressing issue by announcing a shocking or outrageous statement, and it's actually the perfect time to release an average song as he's guaranteed to get attention for it instead of the other drama. After all, he did issue a fake apology that led to pre-saves for his song, so it's definitely connected. The issue is, the beat sounds like a feel-good anthem from the early 2010s, that would have done absolute numbers back when that genre was popular, but now it sounds a little cliched. But again, that's not necessarily a bad thing for KSI. He probably wants to produce a beat that keeps his branding light and positive, and he certainly achieved that goal. The problem is, I've listened to it so many times whilst researching this video that it's often stuck in my head, and now I can't get rid of it. The words, "from the screen to the ring, from the pen to the king," keep bouncing around on videos, and it's almost impossible to escape. At the end of the day, it plays into the stereotype of YouTubers moving into mediocre music careers, but I guess at this stage it doesn't matter for KSI as he's already made it as a multi-millionaire. It could be argued that he doesn't need to worry if Thick of It goes hard or not, just that it in fact goes, and gets massive levels of attention. KSI is aware of the memes surrounding his song too, and can be seen commenting on various clips across the internet, although he doesn't seem too happy with the negative press. Again, this might just be playing into the dead cat strategy as he's getting people to comment on a song that he knew would take attention away from previous drama, or he's just super earnest about it and genuinely wants people to like his music. In short, Thick of It has become KSI's defining moment for his music career, and whilst its early 2010s vibes feel a little corny, the huge amounts of negative press it is receiving are perhaps better than no press at all. What meme would you guys like me to give a lesson in next? Let me know in the comments below.
The chill guy meme won't die. After experiencing an initial wave of popularity when it first debuted thanks to Philip Banks in October 2023, and then again in mid to late 2024 alongside another character, his popularity seemed to have peaked, and this channel released a video covering him. However, it would seem Chill Guy has really exploded as a trend once again in November, becoming the face of a movement regarding guys expressing themselves in situations upon which they are feeling pretty chill. Unfortunately, it's gotten to the point that Philip Banks has had to copyright this character, as there are too many people out there looking to abuse it for profit. In a comment, Banks wrote,
Just putting it out there, Chill Guy has been copyrighted, like legally. I'll be issuing takedowns on for-profit things over the next few days. Not like brand accounts using him as a trend, that's something I don't really care about. I do just ask for credit or Xboxes. Mainly unauthorized merchandise or shitcoins. The meme coin industry is booming right now, whereupon pump and dump rug pull scams are running rife, and one of which is the Chill Guy token. As a side note, I do not condone buying meme coins. You're basically guaranteed to lose money. At any rate, it would appear this combination of meme coin hype coupled with the natural return of Chill Guy to the forefront of social media has resulted in a deadly wave of Chill Guy edits, to the point that it's regularly popping up on Facebook. Again, I must point out the fact that this is the third time in the space of a year that Chill Guy has become the face of meme culture. He did so in 2023, then again in mid to late 2024, and now as 2024 comes to a close, he's inescapable. It just goes to show that some memes never really die, or at the very least have incredible staying power. Chill Guy has become the de facto expression for billions as a representation of an extremely specific mood, and as such has gotten to the point that its original creator has had to step in and try and prevent it from being exploited outside the normal bounds of meme culture. As Banks says, brand accounts using a meme is one thing, as long as they give credit, but utilizing such a famous and iconic image specifically to profit is a little bit morally low, and I suppose the world we live in unfortunately incentivizes that behavior. In short, the return of Chill Guy demonstrates the longevity of some memes, as well as the unfortunate fact that despite his popularity as a goofy and fun-loving character who low-key doesn't give a fuck, he is still being exploited to make money by those who don't actually care about him. What meme would you guys like me to give a lesson in next? Let me know in the comments below. Luigi Mangione has been identified as the man who took out the CEO of United Healthcare, and, following his arrest, an impersonator uploaded a video titled The Truth. The video was basically blank except for the very end, which said soon, all is scheduled, be patient, bye for now, as well as a hint to December 11th. And then a second premiere on the same day was set up called Part 2, with binary on the front that allegedly said, the truth will set you free, but of course the channel was taken down before it could release. YouTube says they terminated the videos due to their impersonation policies, but people seemed keen to believe that Luigi did attempt to drum up attention towards some sort of manifesto regarding the reasons why he did what he did. However, considering the words written on the shells of the bullets fired, it's pretty clear that he'd struck up an issue with the health insurance system. There's since been copycat channels uploaded, which is not entirely surprising, as there's likely many out there who believe they can profit off of all of this attention on the man. After all, his actions have become a massive meme across the internet, and of course, there are millions of others covering the topic with similar results. What's interesting is that many seemed keen not to work with police on this case, whereas usually the internet is absolutely ravenous to work as armchair sleuths and identify perpetrators. However, now that his name is well and truly out there and splashed across the screens of almost everyone on social media, it would seem people are obsessively trying to find everything out about him, whether it's Goodreads likes or Twitter replies. Whether or not these are from the actual real Luigi doesn't seem to matter, as all ideas and facts are being mixed together in one big bubbling cauldron of excitement to promote an image of the man as some sort of icon. At the end of the day, the fact that they've caught Luigi and alleged impersonators scheduled videos to come out in real time after his arrest is crazy, as it demonstrates a new world whereupon criminals are able to drum up attention for themselves via social media, even if it does get taken down by the tech giants. What meme would you guys like me to give a lesson in next? Let me know in the comments below.
And remember, like and subscribe. Or else.